So you see, for me, I'm so intrigued by the idea of what it is we are not aware of and what it is we have yet to learn and to figure out inside of this experience as human beings. Because if you look at the last decade and more, last 2 decades, and then you look a little bit further, the last century, and you see how advanced and how much more we have learned and we have discovered than where we were, let's say, in the beginning of the 1900s. There's always layers on top of where we currently are, of things that we're not necessarily completely aware of. And for me, I feel like right now humanity is in a remarkable time of absolute redesign. And this redesign is not necessarily just something that will happen at a societal level or at an infrastructure level or at a technology level, but more so at a level deep within us as individuals, as a collective, as human beings with souls, with something that is deeper than most of the things we currently give a lot of value to. Ways of thinking, strategies, mentalities. For me, the next and ultimate revolution, at least from what I can feel inside of me, and then what I can begin to sort of see outside of me too, is that we as a collective are being drawn deeper into ourselves and deeper into a point of being able to redesign what it is that we believe we are and how it is we believe we need to move forward. Because at the end of the day, it does start with us as individuals and as souls, and then collectively, because it is a co-creative experience. It is, what do we choose to do? How do we choose to pitch up in our relationships? How do we choose to pitch up inside of ourselves? What do we choose to believe in? What do we choose to know as this is the fact? This is the truth. Because a lot of the way that we have been structured currently, and a lot of the way that we have been designed and influenced, is by definition based on our past and based on the things that came before us in our recent past. Our parents, our grandparents before them, our great-grandparents before them, and all the different intellectuals and people and minds that affected the way that society and people think at the moment. Our belief systems are not necessarily only our own. They are a soup pot of many different influences which we experience throughout our life. And I believe that a large part of where we are going and what brings us to this place in time where we have astronomical amounts of psychological diseases like depression, autism, high levels of anxiety, high levels of mental disease. And I really do believe that it's all a reflection of the fact that our mental models and the way that we see ourselves are not fitting into the way that we used to be. And we're in this position now where we're pushing the envelope and we're being called inward more and more by our own souls as individuals to look and to see and to unmask the things that might be controlling us at an unconscious level which we are not aware of, to bring it to the conscious so that we can see it for what it really is. Once we are able to see it for what it really is, to do that questioning, which I will admit is remarkably difficult at times and scary, But once we look through it, to be able to then say, how is it that we would like to move forward thereafter? How is it that we want to redesign ourselves? Because without a doubt, there is no chance our mentalities and belief systems and ideologies are going to be able to keep moving in the way that they have into the long term, because the earth is no longer vibrating at that level. The earth is no longer sitting in that state of mind and in those frequencies. She is awakening. She is moving into deeper and wider dimensions, which I do not fully understand, but I can feel. And of course, we as her children are showing and reflecting that change. And we can look at the way that society is at the moment and be like, oh, look at all the chaos and look at all the conflict. And you can be like, oh, such a negative thing. And you know what? Maybe if you look at it through those glasses and through that lens, then yes, you can see it as negative. But if you manage to pull yourself above the pain and the drama and the sensationalism of everyday life and the things that we relate to and talk about and as part of normal discourse, public discourse, if you zoom yourself at a higher perspective, you can get to this point where you realize we're just going through a really painful, confusing rebirth, which is what it should be, because we're coming out of times which are so, I want to use the word dark, but I'm going to use it with asking for a bit of grace, because I don't really know what I think of that word, and that maybe the negative connotation that it has, I'm not sure. But we're coming out of a place of a deep sleep where we acted unconsciously, and war was the order of the day. No matter what era you were in, there's war and there's control and manipulation and all these things that can only exist at lower frequencies, can't exist when you're shifting up. And the earth is transitioning, and this is spoken about in many, many texts, ancient texts of a time where, you know, the rainbow prophecy, where the earth, or the precession of the equinoxes, brings about a significant change in frequency of the earth, where Christ consciousness, Jesus Christ awareness comes back to planet earth. And that process of taking people from an awareness and a human from a frequency that is quite survival based, that is very low in its resonance, and you take that and you need to raise it in order to jump into the next place and to jump into the next frequency, into the next state of awareness and being. What a crazy process, and no wonder it appears and looks to be so difficult for so many. No wonder we have all these conflicts and polarization. Polarization is at the ultimate high right now. And a lot of it is obviously happening through the mind with social media and all these things. We've been given these tools, we've been given these platforms and this technology, which has just heightened and made us more able to go into these polarizing effects and into these polarizing ideas to such a level where hopefully it makes us pain as individuals so much that eventually people start to look in, and eventually people start to realize that the outside world has forever and always has been an illusion and a result of what we see from the inside and what we've dug in from the inside and what we're resonating from and where we're resonating from on the inside. It's a reflection of us at every level, from our leaders to our societal structures to the people in your everyday life, to the people that you judge, the people that you love. Doesn't matter. It's all reflective of what's happening on the inside of us. And a lot of humanity at the moment don't have that grips just yet. And and we are being challenged. But again, I will say I think there is a lot of humanity that is moving into it in a very interesting way. But I think we are all going to be highly surprised. I think there's probably a group of individuals, certain types of individuals on the planet that can see and have an idea of the levels of change that we're yet to go through, at least psychologically and experience-wise. Forget about the technology. The technology is like, will move in tandem with us or in parallel with us as a reflection of us. But there are people that do understand, or I believe have a good idea of where that is, what is possible, but I don't know how much of the population that is. I don't think it's a lot. And being a human being right now, going through this process of radical struggle, because you have to unwind so many things and you have to redefine yourself and re-look at the way that you identify with this experience, is remarkable, and absolutely no one is going to be able to run away from it. The future is about frequency. It's about what resonance do you choose, and from that resonance you will have an experience. In fact, I think it's always been that way. It's always been that way. Now we're just being more aware of it. It's always been about resonance. It's always been about frequency. It's always been, what are you connecting with? What is your belief system of the world? What are you attuning to? Absolutely remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And I will say that I would not be able to sit here right now and have these insights, or at least at this point in time, I don't believe I would be able to without having some form of medication. And I know that's going to take people back a little bit, but some form of something that's going to help me remember and help me rewire the trauma and the intensity of my own past and of the past of the people that have affected me in the society that I've sponged off of as a child and growing up into adulthood. I don't know how you rewire your neurological pathways, how you rewire your mind to see past the way that our baseline frequency that we've known, our baseline understanding of life that we've known. Because the baseline of the new life that we're going into, this one I'm talking of, where Christ consciousness returns to planet Earth and where we're vibrating at such an incredible frequency, the process of taking and reworking and evolving into that, how does one break those older chains without some form of assistance, especially to those who have the highest amounts of traumas on this planet, which I regard myself as one of those people. How do you unwind? And that's beautiful, because it could be just part of the process, part of this beautiful journey of us remembering our connection to everything and remembering that we never had to do it alone. And the plants are there to show us that. My plant of choice is marijuana. I am thinking about looking at mushrooms as well, in order to see if that has something which I haven't explored yet, but I'm in no rush. But if you are somebody who is struggling remarkably intensely, if you have this baseline of anger or intensity or not being able to be open to the experience on a day-to-day life, if you have a traumatic past, I would highly recommend searching and looking at these plant medicines. I can't speak anything else at the moment, because my main thing that I've looked at is plant medicines. Other things will probably work. There's probably other types of maybe even lab-born things that could work, but I don't have experience in it, nor have I looked into it at a scientific level. So I can only speak for marijuana, to be honest. And I have a good feeling that mushrooms is very much the same. I think ayahuasca, all those things do have purpose and do obviously have a role to play. However, I don't know. I've not experienced it myself. I just suggest that you remain open to the fact that, firstly, you're not alone and you're never self-made. We are never, ever, 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 ever self-made. We are always relying on something else. no matter what it is. And of course, we need to do the internal work and dive inside of ourselves and find that place, find that reservoir of power and of understanding, of truth, of light, of love, to be able to buzz at that frequency. But because we're in this 3D world, we're in this world that has physicality and separation. I am here, you are there. Because of that, we will always be standing on the shoulders of something, standing on the shoulders of someone's work. If it's the people that drive the trucks to get the food to the grocery stores, to be able to feed you so that you can do the things that you've done, the people that helped you think the way that you think, all the YouTube channels that gave you the information you used in order to get where you are never actually self-made. And these plants, I believe, will pull that veil back so we can realize that we don't need to operate at such a high level of intensity that is destructive to us as individuals and us as souls and humans that have a much wider propensity for larger experiences that are more beneficial to us having a life which is worth living, and which is also just part of the next stage. I guess we can't be asleep forever. It's one of Kanye's songs. He's like, the lady in the song goes, even if you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night. But I don't remember what song it is, but anyway, and it's so true. It will be quite interesting to quote Kanye right now, but I think it's anyway, it doesn't matter. And it can't always be night, and I think these plant medicines are there for that. If you want to understand more about ganja in particular, I do have an 1.5-hour podcast with an absolute wizard in the space and of understanding, Sister V. I think it's a good entry point. It's important to understand what you're getting yourself into. There is a process, there is a better way to approach it, or a more helpful way to approach it, but at the same time, open your arms. The universe got you. It's going to take you where you need to go. Just open yourself up. Be ready to learn. Be ready to let go. Be ready to suffer a little bit before you get to a place of reworking and redefining and re-understanding yourself, because we not only have to do it as individuals, we have to do it as a society. We've got a long process ahead of us. We've got a long journey ahead of us. So tuck in. Be open. The truth is what matters. And I'm telling you, just be open, man. Just be open. Be ready to learn. And we want to learn. Be ready to learn. I know it seems so intense, but just try be ready to learn and to open up and to be amazed and to be scared. To try and find that internal space where you can hold yourself while also holding empathy for everyone around you and understanding the core place from where your reality is created, and that is inside of ourselves. There's no other place. No one else to blame. No one else to look at. No one else to point fingers at. It's all stemming from within. And wherever you are, whatever you've been given, it's because you are able to deal with it and handle it. Good luck on that journey. Good luck on that journey. To all of us. We're going to be cool. It's going to be okay. Don't be scared.